Chancellor may end non-dom tax break for budget boost, says the Times newspaper. That story, appears on the front pages of a number of papers. Has he got a point? Is this? I mean, this is a Labour policy that he's nicking.
Yeah, I mean, he's nicking a Labour policy, obviously, Jeremy Hunt just, goes whichever the way the wind is going, of course. And he's just trying to steal their steam before they introduce it. It's really not a big item. It doesn't really produce that much in revenue. And
hang on a second. Scrapping the non-domiciled tax regime would raise an estimated £3.6 billion a year.
It's nothing. It's lunch money compared to their budgets and what they spend and what they need. We're talking 140 billion. I mean, look, what he's going to do is irritate all the high-earning entrepreneurs who've come to this country and started businesses. Certainly, some people use them as loopholes, but I mean.
But I suppose part of the issue here is that people don't really understand what tax is and how it works. And they think and say, yeah, the rich should pay more. But as soon as you deal with international earnings from different countries, you can't. As soon as you start charging tax on money that has perhaps had a tax payment elsewhere in the world, then you're double taxing. The rich will move their money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
So you get a bigger percentage of nothing.
You put it more precisely than I did, but I mean, it's worse than that. You actually don't get a bigger percentage of nothing. I mean, what you got before actually falls. So it's not a clever move, and it's typical of Jeremy and Rishi just, hanging on with their fingernails for dear life.
The budget, I mean, genuinely, I don't understand why. I think the Chancellor needs to speak to me. I've got some very good ideas that I would happily provide.
I'm sure.
Now, you're getting very frothed up about a company that seems to be very wet. What's going on?
Well, I mean, if you've ever dealt with Thames Water, as I have, you can understand why they're in the disastrous situation that they're in. As I wrote, how wet can you get? I mean, they owe $18 billion in debt. It's said that they won't even be able to meet repayment of their 190 million pound loan in April. Now, 190 million quid is nothing when you owe 18 billion, but they can't even meet that. And of course, their solution, I mean, these guys should be in government. It's brilliant. Their solution is to raise our prices, the consumers, by 40% for our water. And of course, they've been told initially, at least, will the regulators follow that through? They've been told, no, you can't do that. Go get your money from the shareholders. But I mean, I have to say, James, it looks kind of like the government and previous governments that we've had, where you just pay more and more every day and get less and less in services every day, doesn't it?
It certainly does seem like that, and one has to wonder what the regulator has been doing. Oh, they've been asleep at the wheel. Meanwhile, So we've talked many times about Bitcoin. This is, of course, the most popular cryptocurrency. It fluctuates in value hugely. It would appear as if, because everything's going to hell in a handcart everywhere else, people are buying Bitcoin like crazy.
Well, people are buying Bitcoin like crazy, I think, for two reasons. The major reason is that, the infrastructure, just everything in this and many other countries isn't working. And they're buying it as protection, a safe haven, kind of like gold. The second, lesser reason is that a lot of people, not that many, but a lot of people are actually fearful of the new CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies, that are going to be issued by the central banks, and they're going to control our lives, is what the fear is. So they want Bitcoin for that. Now, the news is that Bitcoin has gone up from a low of $20,000 each last year to $60,000. And what I want to say to our viewers about this is I've always been pretty skeptical about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but a number of the major wealth managers, I'm not going to mention names, but you can see them on television walking along beaches and things. The wealth management companies have started to introduce exchange-traded funds, ETFs, where you can buy cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, and that removes quite a degree of the risk.
It does indeed. So consider Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Obviously, invest safely and wisely. Dr. Roger Guiveau, CEO of Fair Money, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning.